Welcome to another episode of The Shoe Fits. We got a special guest with us tonight.
Hi.
I'm your boy Dunn. It's my man AC. You already know that.
My air conditioner.
We got a special guest. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mila Kayleen. That is spelled Melakayen. I am sort of a content creator, everyday influencer, and friend and neighbor to this guy, and that's how I ended up here. Thanks for having me.
Nah, yeah, Mila's been cool. What? Speaking on, like you said TikTok.
Yes.
What are you doing on TikTok?
On TikTok, I'm in seminary. Anybody knows what that is? It's like
What is
school.
that?
Yeah, so it's school that people go to like be trained in ministry. But I do a lot of like mental health, emotional, relational awareness for men and for women. So I don't have like a women's ministry. It's for people who want to live well, heal, love God in the midst of it. So if you are interested, follow me on TikTok.
That's what's up. It sounds like you're doing some pretty good things.
Like
More than us at the moment. I'll say that.
It's okay. I'm happy to lend a little bit of my social clout to you. That's fine.
Yeah, but nah, seriously, we appreciate you, taking the time out to get you up here and, just, pretty much have a conversation, see if the shoe fits, or you can, give some guidance on maybe somebody has on the wrong shoe and they need to
need to switch it out. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Time to give those shoes away.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I think today I want to touch on, and this is gonna be on me. It's gonna be on me because I was a little quiet in the last episode.
Last episode, he kind of put everything on me.
I was a little quiet just based on a certain subject that got brought up. Read some of the comments and all that. It was pretty funny.
Okay.
But I would kind of want to hone into it and get some detail, and more so, I would say perspective for me personally, because I don't understand, certain ideals and what's the word I'm looking for?
Relational dynamics.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So that's definitely what you're here for.
Okay. I can help with that. Let's
Help
do it.
Me.
Okay. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So I guess if I had to start it off with I guess a certain subject, it would be why Black women react to Black men dating outside.
Give me a little bit of context about what happened last time.
Okay, so basically, last episode we touched on, why do Black women actually, feel some type of way about us being outside our race?
Okay. I have many thoughts about that. Okay.
Yeah. That was pretty much from there. We kind of made it more of a man, kiki. But,
Okay. Maddie was on that conversation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Maddie.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Maddie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to you,
appreciate
Maddie.
you, Man, no, and she made some really great points. I think she spoke on like the history of it, and
Yeah.
that. What else did she say? I think you mentioned something about being submissive.
Yeah, like, from my opinion, like I said, in my opinion, I'm not going to,
Submit to what?
I'm not going to,
Submit
say,
to what?
We all
say
gonna
this
do
is
it.
true.
Okay.
Everyone got to just speak.
Yeah, I'm
shit.
not going to say this is
Okay.
true, but from my opinion, I feel like, Black women might be a little bit more challenging than other
That's a
races.
good way to put it.
Women.
You
Yes,
should
yes.
definitely.
But let's stick on
Live
why.
up to the job.
So, but no, I seriously want to. Why is it Black women feel some type of way when they see a Black man dating outside their race? I gotta understand this.
Okay, so I would say one of the reasons why me as a Black woman, why me and my friends feel some type of way is one, we're always thinking of like, if we think about Black men as like a pool, and half of that pool is incarcerated because of the system that we live in, because of this American system that is quite literally like a form of maintaining slavery. The other half is like, we love y'all. If we think about, again, roots in slavery, they tore our families up, and we longed to redeem and reconnect our families. So to see you all not reciprocating that and going outside of your race and saying demeaning things about Black women, it's like, why do we love y'all if y'all don't love us? So when we see it, it stings, because it's like, it's just another reminder of, and you don't really see this in other races. You don't really see this in other cultures. Like, they maintain, and they take pride in maintaining their ethnic lineage. They take pride in maintaining a sort of like autonomy among them, but not y'all. So it definitely rubs us the wrong way sometimes. I'm just gonna say what it is of like, like if you ask most black women, educated black women, hood black women, and everybody in between, what do you prefer? They're gonna overwhelmingly say, I prefer a black man, but a black man doesn't always prefer me. So it does make us feel some type of way of like, is he one of the ones that don't like us either, that has believed the lie and absorbs this, or is this somebody that I can really rock with and trust?
Did you ever think maybe
no,
like
go ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Like what you saying there, right?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Did you ever think about it in the sense of maybe y'all not really attracted to other races like that?
No, I think we are. I can see a room full of fine white men and still know that I don't want to raise no children with you, and still know I can see I see men in other ethnicities, and I'm like, oh, he is fine. I still prefer a black man. I will look at the same way that I'm straight, but the same way that I can see women and be like, wow, you are beautiful, but you ain't got nothing on my auntie. And it's not taking anything away from you, but I cherish the beauty that we exude, the way that people may not like the shape of our bodies or our noses or our lips or whatever, but do a lot of work to come end up looking like us, right? So they really do. So if I can see a handsome Asian man, like, wow, he is really handsome, and you still not gonna pull me over a black man. So yeah, it's not that we're not attracted to them. It's still a preference. And I think the preference is rooted in preservation.
All right, well, first, I don't think women can judge other women. That's just y'all.
What you mean? There are gay women that live that exist in the world.
No, women can't judge other women because y'all not like men per se, like because y'all will think about their person. Y'all think about some other shit. Y'all think about other shit where it's like, nah, we like, nah, that ain't.
I'm like,
y'all will gas up.
Like,
No, y'all be gassing up the ugly friend. I'll be
saying that's okay. Everybody is beautiful to somebody, so that's okay.
You're right. Personally, I think ugly is more of an action, not really looks. Because
I definitely think there are some ugly people in this world. For sure. You're a lot kinder than I am.
I think that it's more of actions. But anyways, so you just touched on you. What caught me was you were like, are you one of the ones that don't like black women?
Yeah, I think it's a valid question to ask.
What does that even mean? How do you begin to approach any black man to be like, are you one of the ones? Because I would argue, don't know black men give a fuck about how you look or anything like that.
Really you can't say don't care about how you look because you just said the thing
as far as
we talk about far as race wise.
Yeah, like we're not gonna solely. I don't like you because you're black. That shit is weird.
The thing is, that's not true. If we think about all the other podcasts that exist where black men are like ragging on black women, a lot of it is, again, it's internalized racism. Some of it is so deeply rooted that you don't even, the same way that somebody that may be classist, right? And it's internalized. It literally is like woven into American culture to the point where you don't even recognize where it comes from. You just have this visceral reaction of like, or this like, what is it called? Maybe like you're primed to think that this other person is better, right? And you don't always know where it comes from because you've been socialized. It's in movies,
a lot of that is subjective as far as being better and
exactly. Yeah. But the story that America tells us is that white women are better. So it's the only way that you really escape that level of socialization is if you are in a context where that isn't the main story. I grew up in DC. I grew up in PG County on both sides of the line. I grew up with black teachers and black people where like being black was like an amazing thing. Mm-hmm. And then I had friends who grew up in other parts of Texas that were like, no, even my parents told me like, you have to look and sound a different way. I wasn't raised like that. So the way that I see black men and black women is based on where I was raised, where someone else may have a different experience and they don't always know the stories, the underlying like unconscious beliefs that are impacting them. And we can't say it's not true for romantic relationships because it's true for even our relationship with ourselves. Like if somebody is short and they were always taught that short people or whatever, then they have some of that. That's where Napoleon complex comes from, right? Or if somebody has this maybe they were abandoned and they have this deep rooted belief that they are rejected and unworthy, right? Like all these stories, we don't always get to choose the stories that make up our foundation.
For
So
sure.
when we think about are you one of the ones that don't like us, if we can hear black, you can literally search it up, you can Google it. It's going to be 50 different videos of black men saying like, I don't want a black woman because, and it's like, dang,
Wait, what would I Google exactly?
Black men not liking black women. You're gonna find all types of stuff on Google, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. There's gonna be all types of stuff, and yeah, and it's
But do you
that's a
believe
regular
that?
thing.
Do you
Yes,
believe that? Do you believe we actually?
I don't believe the black. I don't
attracted
believe.
to y'all?
No, it's not that. But it's like,
So
but it's
bunch of
it's
beautiful
but
black women.
it's almost like a choice. The same way, and I've had this conversation before with AC of like, if I see a fine white man, a fine Asian man, a fine black man, and both of the other like two races, I'm like, damn, you look good, but I'm still checking for him. He is my preference. For y'all, it's gonna be like, I'm really open to whoever talked to me first. And that's just saying, okay. And
So because
see,
we got a variety of choices.
it's the thing is it's not always about choices, it's about preference. I have choices, but this is what I prefer, and this is the reason why I prefer it. I prefer it because I do believe that black men are beautiful. I do believe that black men are worthy of love. I do believe that black family is worthy of preserving.
It sounds good. It sounds great.
It's true.
No, I'm saying from a woman's perspective, as far as how you see dating.
Yeah.
Men see it completely different.
Obviously.
So I'm serious.
That's
it's easy. It's very, very easy to have a preference when you have several options and kind of pick and choose like it's nothing on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month. Whoever you want, 9 times out of 10, a guy's not going to say no. You're literally at that point, you're not even, you can choose race, you can choose class, you can, anything. You have those choices at your demise. For us, nah, we kind of, damn near kind of got to get what you can. You can shoot for what you can shoot for what you
and
want.
all you can get is white women.
No. Listen, I'm not done. Listen, you can shoot for what you want, but if you're not accepted by that, whether it be over and over, no dude wants to walk around just
then we get into the why. Then we get
so
into the why.
If somebody goes to a counterpart like outside of their race and they're winning, they're gonna stick with it as a guy.
Okay, so then it's not about. Okay, so then you're saying that your preference is built on preservation of your ego, where my preference is built on preservation of my ethnicity. Thank you. I'm just saying.
Okay, you didn't really make it. You didn't really make.
I did make a point. You're saying I'm gonna go where I am accepted, where I feel loved, where I feel wanted, where I win as a competition. I'm gonna say I am the thing that looks like winning for me is preserving the black family. The thing that looks like winning for you is preserving your ego. That's totally different.
I don't think ego's a bad. I don't think ego's a bad thing. Yes, I'm competitive by nature.
I think there's healthy ego that encourages you to get up and wash your ass and brush your teeth in the morning, and then there's unhealthy ego that gets you into a space of like being stuck in a pattern, pride, and that is unhealthy. I feel like we're getting way off topic here, but I do think so based on the question that you asked. But I'm just saying.
I understand both of y'all.
I understand. I just want to say.
I understand your point of view. I understand her point of view. She's very true with what she's saying because it's definitely based on
your success rate.
You feel like you're successful over here, and her preference is keeping it black.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Keeping it black, preserving our
family. It doesn't matter if she knows she's successful.
Yes, I know I can pull a white man. I know I can pull a black man. And if I get into a room and it's 50 beautiful black men, 50 beautiful black women, and I'm like, okay, he might not choose me because it's again many other beautiful black women here, and I know I can easily pull this white man. That's not hard at all. but that doesn't deter me because I know that what winning looks like for me is not the preservation of my ego. It's preservation.
Well, I mean, I guess winning was the wrong term, but again, I would say.
Well, I'm saying winning just because men are competitive by nature. That's
but I definitely think it's still on topic as far as where you see black men dating out, and the perspective on that. And I'm just telling you, I could get why a man would date outside of their race, no matter what race that you are, because if you're not accepted by women in your race,
and then we have to get into the conversation of why you wouldn't be accepted.
So what's your reason of feeling why you will be unsuccessful?
Why I have been unsuccessful?
Yeah.
All right,
let's have this conversation again.
All right, so.
You put the laptop down.
Well, nah, because I gotta talk my shit.
Okay, go ahead. Do what you gotta do.
I've been unsuccessful. I guess we gotta define success. Have I been with black women? Absolutely. But I think what we talked about was, have I dated black women?
Yes.
No, I have not.
So as far as a relationship.
Yeah, I've never had a relationship with black women. No, surprise, surprise. I read the comments. But to that point, based on my personal experience, the way that I speak, the way that I dress, and the way that I carry myself, I wasn't immediately received by the black women I surrounded myself with, based on where I grew up in a small town.
Yes.
It was, I literally heard it verbatim, oh, you're not black enough, or you're Oreo, or you're not, I was just never enough blackness.
Yes. I understand.
That shit was weird to me. Like it never deterred my confidence. I was like, what do you mean by that? Like,
So AC and I have had this conversation, so I can listen to this calmly. The last time we had this conversation,
we'll say it got animated.
It definitely did. Yeah. But I think to that, what I shared with him last time is like, why, right? So if I don't feel safe with you, if I don't feel like the black men that I'm used to. They could be nerdy, they could be proper, they could be hood. I've dated across the board. They've always been black though. So I don't think it's really about like aesthetics. I think for some it can be, but I don't think it's always about aesthetics. I think for me, again, if I said that my goal with dating a black man is for the preservation of the black family, I'm gonna need to trust that you as a black man are willing to preserve me. Do I feel safe with you? So when we talked about maybe somebody being tatted or whatever, it's like, I might feel safer with you than I do with somebody else that presents a little bit differently.
No.
He brought up that specific, he brought up the last time he mentioned something about somebody being tatted.
So, you're not tatted. I was just thinking about things, you're not tatted or.
Exactly. So that's where that came from. That's where that came from. But again, for a black woman, there may be some things where I'm like, I don't really know about that. Because again, I don't know if I'm going to feel safe to be my full self with you. I don't know if I'm going to feel safe that, when we talked about, again, some different cultural things of like expectations of me being a black woman, how you supposed to move with me. I'll even give a random example. Somebody in this building, I won't say no names, somebody in this building, I went to go get Maddie a drink from Starbucks. He asked me to get him a drink. And I thought that was weird. I thought it was weird. I'm like, I will tell you why I thought it was weird.
Was it? He was dead ass serious.
Yes, he was completely serious. And he asked Maddie to ask me to get him a drink. And I'm like,
hold on. I don't mean to cut you off. So did you hear him or you found
she texted me and was like, hey, he wants to get something to drink too, blah, blah, blah. And I ended up seeing Maddie's boyfriend. I said, now, would you have done that? And he started laughing. I said, I'm just saying, you date black women, he dates white women. There is a difference. The thing for me is that
I missed that.
I'm about to give you the context. So for me, him asking me to do that, I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know you enough for you to be asking me to do you favors. And I wouldn't even necessarily mind, but you're not paying for it. Like you to me, all of this is moving weird. The black men that I'm used to, if they ask for something, they'd be like, exactly, like, hey, take this, like, can you go get it?
Or I'm gonna just get everybody drinks and grab them.
Exactly, like, you know what? I'm actually about to run, like, make the burden lighter for me, right? And you get up and you go do it. I'm not about to be running no damn errands for no man. That's weird to me. Like, you are.
That's weird in general. Like, to just ask a random person you don't know, like, yo, grab me a coffee.
I mean, like, but like, cool enough, but still, I would have been like, even with the things, with the snacks. AC asked me what snacks I wanted. And I'm like, okay, if I get there and what I asked for isn't there, for real, I'm like, I can't trust you for shit. Like seriously, like this is what I mean about Black women looking the kind of care that we do not get out in the world. If I ask for something, it needs to be there. Do I trust? Like seriously, if it's something where like, you're not Black enough for me, the kind, what I think they're actually communicating is you're not the kind of Black I'm used to, and I can't trust that you're going to show up for me the way that I'm used to this person showing up for me. And then that's a valid conversation to be had. We did have some other conversations. We don't need to go about and go into that, but that really is it. Of like, when I look at this man, am I going to trust that if we're around your coworkers, you're going to have my back the way that I know this other nigga would? Or are you going to join in on the jokes because you're uncomfortable in your Blackness, and then if I'm comfortable in mine, you're going to throw shade at me? That's really what is being communicated. Of like, you're not Black enough, meaning I don't feel safe with you to unravel, physically unsafe, like all of those things where in America, Black women don't really have those spaces. So if I can't be that way with you, then I am going to be a little hesitant to connect.
But I mean, go ahead.
So in his sense,
okay,
is he wrong for, you know, being out of his race?
Yes, because I think at your big age now, you do what you're doing now. Have conversations of like, if I really want to have a relationship, like, well, you know what? I'm not just gonna be like, well, they said no to me, so I'm gonna go pivot to the Caucasians. It's it's, can you help me understand where that's coming from? Because I'm really interested in dating Black women, but I've heard that so much. So what do you, and then you have a dialogue.
We've kind of, like you said, we've kind of had the conversation where immediately it was, oh, I can tell because you're wearing.
Because your shoes!
Yeah, I was wearing on clouds, not Air Forces. You're wearing Lululemon and not jeans.
There are three things that I'm looking at to see who you date. Because again, how many Black women, how many videos have you seen of Black women styling their man? How many videos of white men have you seen dating Black women and suddenly their whole style changed? They got a fade all the way. They got like, so there is a kind of sauce.
That's because we're very influential.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So there is so if I can see your style, I'm like, you date white women just by what you got on.
Shit is,
but just by what you got on, just by what you got on.
Do you not hear the insanity in that?
Like
it's
observations.
It's very surface level.
It is, but it also be accurate. So if it
don't also be accurate because you're cutting out so many men that would again.
It's an assumption. I would either say you were raised around. First of all, 9.999 times out of 10 be right. I have had, for real. And when I said to you, I said something about your outfit or whatever, and I'm like, I can tell you date white women just by off the strength of what you got on a Friday night. And again, because you're not dressed like you're trying to pull no Black woman. Still, even if it's offensive,
the fact that you said I'm not dressed like I'm trying to pull a Black woman, I just not dressed.
But the way, okay, and that's fine. But then you double down, proving my point. You could have been like, what are you talking about? This is just the way. I'm like, okay, then I was wrong, but I wasn't. So I think whenever I had a conversation with somebody, there are little tells. The little tells again based on socialization.
Is that good observation?
It is. They're little tells.
If
somebody's playing poker, if somebody's really good at poker, and they're like, I didn't even say anything. It's like, yeah, but you got a little tell. So again, if we are wired, if Black women are the most disrespected group in America, and we are wired for survival, I'm always observing and I'm always looking for a tell. Am I safe here? Am I accepted here? Am I wanted here? Will I be loved here?
I can definitely flip the script and say, I know because of the way that I'm dressed or the way that I talk. Oh, he likes white. I'm just going to stay away, or I'm going to confront this man in a very
look what you about to say.
In a very confrontational manner. I ain't going with that shit. Like, why even put myself?
I didn't do it in confrontational.
I'm not talking about. Okay, no, I'm not talking about you. But I'm just saying that energy. Like, I'm just saying that energy where, I'm gonna just brush him off because I already know. I've gotten that before. Like, I can tell you like white girls because blah blah. I'm immediately like, all right, like I'm not about to go out of my way to holler at you now. I'm gonna go to somebody that like it.
Okay, and see, that's the easy thing. That's the ego thing. And I think eventually, if the goal really is, if the
I
goal,
mean, I wouldn't
if the
consider it
goal
easy
is
per se, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to holler at girls. Like, that's not just easy for
well,
every guy.
well,
but
if the goal
it's still a
is
process.
to
It's
get,
a problem, no matter what race it is.
that's true. If the goal is to be married, then stick with what you're doing. If the goal is to be married to a black woman, then eventually you're gonna have to pursue.
I'm gonna have to be a try hard.
Well, you're gonna have, I mean, effort and see the effort. You say I'm gonna have to be a try hard again. Even think about your response to effort.
So we're gonna get to that later, but it goes to
the next question of like
what are the
being
what are the questions?
Exactly. See, get back into your script. We put the laptop down to be
I'm mad. Just,
but it's definitely safe to say.
I know I'm not sure.
I believe, like you said, being the fact that black women are so observant and
observant for a reason.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely a generational trauma.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. And the thing is, it's trauma that doesn't really even get an opportunity to go away because of look at our country. Look at really like how disrespected, whether people loved Kamala's policies or not. Look at how fiercely she was disrespected. Like this world, especially this country, tells black women every day, we may want to have sex with you, we may want to have kids with you, but we don't want to marry you. So if every day we're being fed messages that we are, and the thing is, it's not 100%, but it is overwhelming. And if that is the case, then we are observant as a means again of preservation.
Are we watching the same America?
Probably not, right? Because I'm the one that's being again.
She's definitely seeing it through a different lens.
I'm seeing it through the fact that I'm the one that's being oppressed in this situation. So the same way a white person can say like, I don't perceive that. This is post-racial society. You're like, I live every day as a black man. What are you talking about? No, it's not. Yeah. It's a very same experience of like, I live every day as a black woman.
Right, so to try and find middle ground with this.
Okay.
I would say it seems as though black men like myself are unfairly judged.
I would not say it's unfairly judged, but I would say it is judged. And that's just life. And black women, I'm judged every day at work.
You're saying I should still go out my way to just try.
Absolutely. Okay. I would say put in some effort, brother. Buck up.
I'm pretty sure we got a few followers of AC, a few beautiful black women.
Exactly. They would be interested, especially knowing that you're having these conversations. I think that is something that, again, as a black woman, would be able to say, okay, you know what, like, there is some common ground here. There is some opportunity for safety here, and also knowing that black women come in all different. I've known black women who had the very same conversation that you have had of like, black men don't want me because maybe she has like super kinky hair, and she's like, I married a white man because black men don't want me, and I'm like, you're right, they don't. You're absolutely correct. That is your true experience. This is a little off subject,
but when it comes to saying,
it's very true.
No, I'm saying when it comes to black men don't want me, I think women are different on the dating pool as far as maybe the ones that they're going for don't want them, but they're definitely wanted.
Well,
to some degree or
I would say some exactly, but it's like okay.
Somebody want it.
Maybe not the one you want. Maybe not the one you want. And then again, right? It's about like mutual attraction. So there has to be again some common ground. There has to be mutual attraction.
So what's this whole thing with? Well, I guess not. What's this whole thing? What do you think the unsubmissiveness of black women? Because I think there's a lot of videos, a lot of stigma.
Talk about black women not being submissive.
I don't know if it's like submissive enough or just submissive.
And I'm not gonna say, let's clear this up. I'm not gonna say all black women are not submissive.
Right.
I'm not gonna say that.
I think you did say. Well, you didn't say all.
I didn't say all. Don't.
No. You didn't say all.
See that shit?
No. You didn't say all. But all I'm saying is in the last episode you was like, yeah, black women just tend to be
unsubmissive.
No, I didn't
what
say
are we
all.
submitting to?
I didn't say all.
You didn't say all, but
what I will say,
He's like, let me clarify.
I want all smoke, but
I have dated other races, and they're submissive from the beginning.
Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. I know what you want to say
from the beginning. So pretty sure as a black woman, you might agree that other races of women are more submissive.
I would say that's why I said like, okay, if you date like Latino women, I'm like, okay, I can relate more to them. If you're like white and Asian,
Latino woman,
and some other stuff,
don't the Latino women be cursing niggas out in Spanish and all that?
they do sometimes. And some of them are racist, but I would
think that's
say
women in general.
yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say
Right.
when it comes to being submissive. I don't know why it's portrayed more to black women, but I
because,
think
again,
it's
we're
more of just
more
a.
harshly
I
judged.
think it's just a woman thing. A female
Exactly,
thing.
exactly. And I think again we're just more harshly judged. I think one of the things that I would ask though is like, what do you need submission for? Like, what are you looking for? Why is that something that you're looking for?
What's your definition of it?
I'm asking you. We're talking about submission, I'm like, okay, but what are you talking
my
about?
definition of it is, just let a man be, let a man be a man. Let a man be the man in the house. Not saying that you gotta, let the nigga disrespect you or nothing like that, but just for let him lead, let him be a man. Let his roles in the shit.
Okay.
God, man, woman, child, and I think that's
What specifically though? What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that too? I want to know.
What?
Both of you. What is
Oh,
that?
I just said what I mean.
Exactly.
I mean, I was thinking more specific, like as far as a woman being submissive, I would.
See, they answer me questions that they don't know the answer.
No, I know the answer. It's more so how it's gonna come out. I like a woman submissive in the aspect of there's certain
Looking
shit.
for you?
It ain't that.
Okay,
But no, more so like there's certain shit I'm not gonna argue about. It is what it is. Or there's certain shit I'm gonna handle, and that is what it is. Like there's not gonna be.
Let you be the man. Let you be basically what I
like when it comes to certain things in the household, I got this shit. Like maybe you can step in and help every now and then, but that's me.
Okay.
And again, I'm not about to argue. I don't argue. Unless obviously if it's some
I was about to say
conversation
that needs to be had.
some shit needs to be had. If it's disrespectful or somebody's in danger or something to that level. But other than that, I'm not about to argue about some more shit. I'm gonna speak my piece on it, and then that's just done. Like that call me out your name. I'm not.
See, that's a character flaw. I don't necessarily know if that's submission, but if that person is calling you out your name, then that's a character situation.
Right.
So the way that I think about the question was, why do black women?
Why did they get that label?
Why do we get that label? One, I think that we have I think for me, one of the underlying things is always going to be protection and preservation. And I'm not just I'm
you
always
keep going back to that
because I think it's a theme that we might not recognize is actually happening.
What do you
Why do y'all feel so?
It's not.
What are you protecting?
I'm about to get
Okay.
there. I'm about to get there. So if the goal is again protection, preservation, then I'm not just going to submit to you without any evidence that I can trust you. Like, what am I trusting you with? What exactly have you proven that you can lead? I have a tendency to date people that I've been friends with because I can be attracted to somebody and not like them at all. I'm like, oh, you handsome, but like I don't know you. So literally, I'm like, I literally don't know you. There's no reason I would never tell you that I like you because we're strangers. So
that's pretty normal.
I mean, a lot of people see people and immediately start dating. I am not that person. So
you really live a different life.
I do, maybe okay. So
I've never heard of that.
I mean, you never heard somebody go out, or go out to a bar and be like, "Oh, that's my man. We're going on a date." I would never do that. I'm like, "Oh, that's somebody that we're friends."
Yeah, I think that happens more with women. We don't fall in love.
But like people will meet each other at a bar and be like, "Oh, we're going on a date on Saturday." I would literally never do that.
Okay, like you hit it off at a bar and then you set up.
And I don't operate like that.
How do you operate?
I am somebody. I'm like, oh yeah, he's handsome. I'll see you when I see you, but I'm not. I don't.
So how do you?
How does that?
So
I know we kind of get off topic,
but I tend to date people that I am friends with or I have known. So if it's I would probably say if they're like a neighbor situation, right? I wouldn't just be like, oh, that has happened in this building. Like, oh, you want to go to breakfast? No, I don't know you.
That's the whole point of inviting you.
And see, that's just not how I operate. I've dated people in friend groups where it's like, oh, we've been friends for like a year. So I'm like, dang, I like him.
All right, so I guess how do you become friends without like having done something.
Y'all never dated nobody I went to school with, or like I'm just.
I mean, that shit fades out. Like,
it's
yeah.
hard to understand. I don't know. Either way, we're getting off the topic.
But to
We're
me,
getting off the topic.
before we get back on topic, 'cause
I gotta understand you a little bit to
Okay.
kind of understand everything else that you're gonna speak of. Like, you know, I'm
So
getting
I
to know you.
tend to date people that I know because that's the only way that I actually
You
have
to
like
know this person.
in a friend group is what I
like
said
basically
multiple times.
she's been around.
Like exactly, I'm like,
No
okay,
matter how she been around.
exactly, like oh,
Word,
we're
they
friends,
might live,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
But you're
Word,
saying,
I've been
okay,
around him, I got to know a little bit.
So
of
a dude just needs to be around you for months at a time.
I mean, sometimes if it's like I said, we live in the same space, we work in the same space. And so it's like, okay, I've got to know you a little bit, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's cute.
But,
I'm interested now.
So
I'm
I ask
very
you
rarely interested right off.
how do you meet your person like that? Like,
what do you mean?
If you been around them and you like their person,
so it's like
how you know your person and you just wind
that random dude at the bar.
Well, again, because of my faith, I know that God understands how I'm wired. Not everybody, like you're saying, not everybody is wired like that. Somebody could see somebody and whatever. The way that I'm wired, I could, Chris is one of my friends in the building. I could be around him and be like, oh, dang, every time I come around you, your cousin is around. He's cool. Like, I'm interested. And that's how I know that I'm genuinely.
So you be shooting your shot.
Me shooting my shot is showing up. You have now an opportunity to speak to me. So that is that's me showing. That's how I shoot my shot. I'm like, I will appear, and if you are also interested, then you can talk to me. But I'm not gonna shoot my shot. I'm like, okay, I'm interested, and I will show up to where you are and give you an opportunity to talk.
You got it.
Yeah. So that's how I shoot my shot. Anyway, back to the conversation at hand. The reason why I would say Black women are not perceived as submissive. What is so funny here?
I'm just enjoying this conversation.
Okay, thank you. So I think the thing about submission is, again, like, what are you showing me? What am I submitting to? Like, are you displaying leadership or are you just expecting submission? And do you have like your shit together to where I'm like willing to, not even just protect, but like provide it for. Like, I'm not going to submit to somebody that has shown me that they are irresponsible with their finances. Why would I submit to you so I can lose all my money like your goofy ass? Absolutely not. Right? So like, if it's a question of a submission, it's like, what am I displaying to this woman that is making her not believe in my leadership? And that's not across the board, because I do know there are some women who, again, because of their own trauma, just like to take on the leader. But again, maybe they were raised in single parent households, so they're used to women taking the lead. Maybe they have been, abandoned, whatever, and they're used to women taking the lead. I think in that instance, you as a man have to have a conversation with yourself of like, this is not a Black woman thing. This is this woman thing. And is this the kind of woman that I want to be with? And if so, do I have a conversation with her of like, I have lots of married friends, and I've seen them across the board in this of like, okay, I need you to talk to your homegirl because she, like, I love her, I care about her, but she keeps trying to like take over this thing, and I want to do this. And then I will have a conversation with my friend of like, girl, what is the issue? She was like, honestly, I've never seen a man do this well. I'm like, okay, well, give him an opportunity. And then we have a conversation. I am always the counseling friend in most of them. So I'm like, okay, we have a conversation about that. But again, he's vulnerable of saying like, this is hurting me. This is making me feel some type of way. She's vulnerable of saying like, I'm not really ready to relinquish that. And then I've had other friends where their partner is very submissive. But again, it was built off of mutual respect and trust. So I think if you're saying like, oh, she's submissive off butts, it's like, I don't know that I can give you that because you haven't earned that.
And I believe, like I said, once again, I believe with Black women, y'all more tough on niggas, basically.
I expect a lot from you.
Y'all expect a lot.
Yeah, and I think
and I respect it.
I
respect it. I respect it. In a sense, I never really looked at it like that until we actually started having some of these conversations. Mm-hmm. But even me having this conversation back at home, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm starting to see the reason why.
Yes. We never do anything for no reason.
Yeah. And it's safe to say, like I said, it's a lot of niggas that's not even really
doing
serious.
anything.
Yeah,
Exactly. And I think that is, especially as Black women, again, like educated in any way, whether it's through school or maybe some other type of program.
I
Maybe
think
you're
y'all are the
really
most
committed.
educated.
We really
Yeah.
are. Like there, so it's like the higher we go or the more serious we get about our lives, it's hard to find a peer in that. So when we do, and y'all end up with white women, it's like this is just it's painful because it's like, damn, I'm doing all of this and I'm only single because I want to marry a Black man. And the more I don't, if I see a Black man married to him, like, oh, he's handsome, and I find out he's in a relationship with a Black woman, I'm like, girl, you got it, period. I'm not like, if I see that he's in a relationship, even with an Asian person, I'm like, girl, period, do you? But if when they're white, I'm like, they have so their men are not being incarcerated the way that ours are. They're not being killed and targeted the way that ours are. So they have so much to choose from. And it's like, and we don't. So it's like all you're doing to me. And again, like I know that I live in an abundance. I know that God got me. But that's why I have more friends even now, like pursuing men overseas. They're like, oh, my man is in London. Because again, they want Black men. So they are going to Dubai, they're going to UK, they're going across the world to still find a Black man.
So they got passport gals.
Okay.
Passport
Oh
girls
gosh, not passport
shit.
gals.
I just say,
But
again, you're doing it too. Man. We're going to
other countries. Okay.
Okay.
But it's like that's how serious and committed we are to Black men. And like I want my kids, I'm already fairly light. I want my kids to look like Black kids. I don't want them to be looking to have to show pictures of their mom and say, no, for real, my mother really is Black. Like I'm half Black.
What's the irony in that?
What?
I mean,
I'm the whitest one here and the darkest. It's just kind of funny.
You said the whitest
he's
one?
darker than us, but he.
You don't have to call yourself white. You maybe have been socialized.
No, I definitely don't call myself white.
You don't have to do that.
I just type shit.
Yes, but seriously, I'm like, I don't want nobody to have to show. I don't want my kids to have to show pictures of their mama and be like, no, for real, my mama is Black. I swear. Like, I love Black features on Black men. I love Black men. That again, like if I look at my family and if what I think is beautiful, I think Black is so beautiful. So I can see a handsome white man and be like, I'm not trying to kiss you though, like for real.
So it sounds like Black men, to some degree or another, need to just step up.
Say that again?
They need to step up as far as like.
I would say maybe because I think there are some Black men who have stepped up. So I wouldn't generalize.
But it doesn't sound like there's enough based on all incarceration and deaths and all that. And
when you really think about this shit, man, this is real talk. When you really think about it, us as Black men, damn near extinct.
For real. Look at our jails. Look at like police shootings. Look at even our neighborhoods. Right. See, and that's some white people shit to say. Let me tell you, that is because if we're talking about systemic oppression and people going, but we be killing each other though. That is some white people shit.
No, we saying
there really is.
We saying basically like that shit is nutty.
No, but I'm saying the fact that we're talking about cosmic. Again, I'm gonna throw in some theological terms for it. If we're talking about cosmic sin,
like glitter at you.
Okay, we're doing like cosmic sin at a macro level, and then we're talking about oppressive systems, which are sin, and then you undercut it, but we be killing each other though. I've only seen that practice again if we're facing oppression and saying this is oppressive to us. Like, yeah, but y'all oppress each other. That's not even what we're talking about. That is the all lives matter of the Black lives matter. So when I say that again, socialization. If I say, oh yeah, like these are all these systemic things. Like, yeah, but we be killing each other though. It's like that was not necessary. That was not the time for that.
Basically, y'all throw us under the bus, right?
But it doesn't negate the fact that it is.
Yes, and there will be a moment to have that conversation, but that moment wasn't it. Okay, go ahead.
But what you saying? Basically, shit going on. This shit real out here, and we all know the world is against us. So,
I feel like on one hand we say it starts in the home and we got to do this for each other, but when it comes to killing each other, we we don't start.
No, all of that is again a fruit of systemic oppression. So
It's
if
all
I
a
am,
system.
it really is a system. So if I am,
I tell you this shit all the time.
It really is. It's systemic oppression.
As far
No,
as the
it does.
family dynamics.
It can start. It can start in the home, but the moment you step outside, you're still being impacted by the system. So if this system has ostracized us, marginalized us, and given us minute resources, and they're rare, and we're fighting for each other. That's literally, quite literally, the impact of slavery. So if I've given you 5 pounds of cornmeal and it's 300 slaves, and y'all have to fight over, again, survival. We're literally killing each other because, again, internalized racism and survival. If I take you out, look, it's again, this is why.
I'm just asking. Can you put it in like 20? No, it's like 2025. So
that is 2025.
No, I'm saying you started going back to cornmeal. Yeah,
that is
give me an
2025.
example of some modern day slavery.
That is a modern day example, and the fact that you don't believe it's a modern day example
I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm just give me an example. What do you mean by that?
For the kids out there, for the young.
Okay, how do I make it plain? So if I am
not for the kids, for me, I'm a grown man. I'm trying to really. I want to understand.
Okay,
right
so
now,
again, all of the so we don't exist in a vacuum today, right? Like who you are is a collection of experiences, a collection of family histories that has led to AC right here, March 26, 2025. You are not absent or separate from your history. So the reason why I bring in history is to say that same thing, this same context is here today. It just might look different. So if you compare them to the west side of Chicago and people are quote unquote killing each other, there are a finite number of houses. Maybe there are 10 houses on the block. There's 25 families. Who's going to get the houses? If there are 16 honey buns in the store and nobody ate all week and it's 46 people that need a honey bun, they're going to do what they have to do to be able to survive. Right? Yeah. So if all you see is this is how I preserve my life by taking yours, again, it is the impact of slavery. It is the impact of the oppression that we have experienced that we have not yet escaped. So when we talk about, oh, we kill each other, that is true, but that is quite literally how the system was designed for us to be able to take each other out. And now we're doing the oppressor's job for them.
I mean, they should get even deeper than that. You know,
absolutely.
They get even deeper than that. But we'll talk about that.
Let's do it next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on another episode. But yeah.
You want to go back to the script?
Yeah, let's
I'm thinking about all that. Maybe I'm the only one that has lived life through a different lens
you did. Because you lived in a small town, and we come from
and you had white mom.
Yeah.
So
we come from big cities where we literally grew up.
Around
shit,
yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
You asked me why I left DC.
Yeah.
My best friend like you. That's why I left DC. So
you know why I left Philadelphia.
Right. And again, we always even talk about like again dating, socialization, how we were raised. I can always tell a mixed person that was raised with a white parent, a white mother, versus a mixed person that was raised with a black mother. Because again, I'll even take it to adoption. They don't even have to be mixed. There was a white Asian girl that I was working at a coffee shop with in Chicago, and she kept saying, "Mila, Asian people do not want to be my friend." I said, "Because you act like a white woman." And she was like, "I don't know what you mean." I said, "We're gonna go through our shift, and I'm gonna show you how you keep imposing yourself on me in ways that minorities or minoritized people in America don't do." So I'm not gonna be like, expect you to scoot over.
We go do that shit every day. We know somebody personally that does that.
Yes, so I'm not going to be like, you need to move because I want to sit there. I'm like, hey, do you mind? So just again, so there were things that she was doing of like, if I did something, she would go back and be like, oh, it needs to be done. So I said, see, that's why Asian people don't like you. And she literally, it was like mind blowing for her because she was like, I wanted to marry an Asian man, but only I said because you behave like a white woman. You impose, you think that your way is the only way. And when we all get out of that space, I want to come back and relax. I don't want to have to deal with whiteness as a social construct in my space, even if it's coming from a black man, even if it's coming from an Asian woman. you're still exercising whiteness because you were raised by a white woman. You were socialized to behave like her in a world, even though you don't look like her. So when other Asian people see you, they don't want to be around you because you act like a white lady. It literally changed her life. She was like, nobody ever told me that. And now all of a sudden she started to shut up in spaces with other Asian people. She was like, they want to hang out with you more. Yeah, because you're no longer, you're aware of how you have taken on whiteness as your own. The same way, if I'm super educated and I can see ways that I've taken on whiteness, and I'm like, damn, thank you for calling me out on that because that was trifling. Like, I came from this neighborhood, and now I'm like, girl, you too loud. She's like, girl, you went to school, I didn't, but we come from the same place. And I'm like, damn, okay, that's internalized.
But when it comes, all right, now.
Okay,
now,
all right, now.
I'm from the churches. Like everybody that know me out there, y'all know. Even with me, the more I, became successful in business and things like that.
Yeah.
I would say my personality kind of, changed.
Change,
Around.
as it should. It's okay to grow.
And I definitely believe, in certain rooms you're supposed to put a certain mask on, like we were talking about earlier. And I wouldn't say that's, whiteness. I wouldn't say that's
No. I don't think it's whiteness. I think when I start to judge or do harm to my neighbor, then I'm operating in whiteness. So if I'm saying like, okay, girl, I just don't get down like that no more, like I'm not about to hang out with you, that's different. That's me and my character. But if I'm looking down on you and I'm like, can you stop? Like sometimes I do that with my mom.
I don't like loud people.
Okay. But sometimes I'm like, oh, you're being so ghetto. And then again, I have to think of what am I communicating? I gotta check my own part. Sometimes I would, yes. I'm like, girl, like for real. I'm like, girl, like literally. I'm like, girl, stop being ghetto, for real. But again, that's because that's how I grew up. So, and then my mother would check me like, okay, where do you think that this came from? Sometimes it's on some, okay, girl, this is not the space for that. Yeah, then there are other times I'm that's the internalized drama. You need to behave. You're embarrassing us.
But sometimes,
and that's when it's white. That's
sometimes it's safe to say.
Yeah, it's okay.
Us as black people,
it will be a little ghetto sometimes.
We don't know how to act.
Sometimes.
And sometimes, that shit can be kind of like
sometimes it's because of lack of exposure.
Sometimes
a lack of exposure of how we don't know how to act because we never been there. Nobody ever taught us.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I had to learn when I started going to school with white people in Maryland. Of like, I didn't know I was ghetto. I didn't know I had a DC accent because I didn't know that. And then I got exposed to it. And they're like, I had other teachers that were like, okay, this is not Northeast DC. Really, like you can't act like that. If somebody at school say something crazy to you, I'm like, oh, can I go to the person's office? And I call my brother, and I'm like, you need to come up here. Seriously, I literally did that in the 7th grade, and my teacher was like, this is not that. And I'm like, yeah, where the school I came from, I'm like, girl, meet me outside. My brother's outside, my cousin's outside, and they're like, that's not how they handle things here. You get demerits, and you go to the principal's office. And I'm like, oh, I had to learn a whole new system. Learn a whole new system.
And
I can see the wheels turning in your head.
I mean,
I love it. I love it.
Like I said, there's definitely, everybody sees shit through different lenses.
Yeah, it's not as though I grew up in the suburbs type shit, but I've never been. I guess I would say I've been fortunate enough where I can kind of fit into any room. Like I've been in the streets, I've been around some shit, but been comfortable and fine being who I am, even. How
and
I talk and dress
today. That's one thing I would say. I tell you that all the time.
Yeah.
I respect that about you. You have never came around me trying to, portray a different image or, act a certain way to fit in. And you know what I'm saying? You no matter where the fuck who we around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I done been things that y'all described, but I've also been, I guess, in wider areas where you need to act a certain way, and I've been able to just kind of go back and forth and still just be who I am, and it just always worked. Like, but
be yourself.
Yes, definitely be yourself.
I would say that's a lot of fun. Be yourself.
Be yourself in space, and it's okay if you don't feel safe to be yourself right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to Black women who may feel like in this environment I can't be myself because this environment was not created for me. That's okay, and if you can't be yourself in every environment, find spaces where you can be yourself, where you can unravel, where you can be your full self, because you are worthy of rest, and that's the only way you're going to get it.
I think we're gonna give you. We're gonna let y'all sit on that for a second.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
All right. So before we wrap it up for tonight, can we say that Black women kind of create their own issues for dating based on the lens that they look through, or
how did we still get there?
I'm just asking a question, just based on the lens that you look through of,
Is this the real question right now?
Yes.
Or do you want to say it again?
No, this is a real question.
Okay.
This is a real question. Based on the lens that you look through and how you perceive people in such ways, do you feel like that could potentially be an issue for Black women? Like, I guess what I'm doing is challenging yourself, just how I need to challenge myself to try and approach more Black women, regardless of the kickback that I may get.
Yeah.
I guess the challenge to you and anyone else that thinks your way is to maybe take that lens off of, okay, let me not. You said no before I even finished.
Can I finish your thought, and then I would offer you a reframing of that.
Okay, so can you take your lens off and just give Black men like myself that may not on the surface look or portray themselves a certain way?
I feel like, is that the conversation that we had? I don't think so.
It is.
Okay, so I would say.
Was it not the conversation?
I don't think it's the conversation that we had, but I'm okay with that. I feel like the conversation that we have had is where did these things come from?
Where it come from?
Yes, we've been talking about a lot, like literally what's the root of it, why. But I think to your question of like the first part you said was, do Black women create their own sort of challenges based on their perception? I would say we do not create our own challenges. We are accurately responding to our consistent lived experience. However, the way that I would reframe it for us, and something that I'm working on myself, is that even despite systemic oppression, even despite people loudly disrespecting us, whether they are white comedians or Black men that we look to and desire to love, my encouragement to myself and to anyone else that's watching is that we can reframe it through a lens of hope, right? We are having this conversation in order to find some common ground.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So we do not have to be so self-deprecating of like, I know how this story is going to go, and I'm so committed to safety that I'm unwilling to try. I think the thing is like, I'm going to continue to hope that if a Black man is what I desire, a Black man is what I will find. He may look very different than what I am originally open to or attracted to, and that's okay, because my goal is to preserve the Black family. So if you have felt that it is daunting, or we look at them like, oh, he's the one that likes white women, it's like, okay, that may be true. And maybe they're
Give me a chance.
Okay, exactly. So there is hope because of conversations like this, where we are trying to find common ground and really like understanding with the hopes of like maybe some level of reconciliation. So that's how I would reframe your question.
One last thing I guess I want to touch on. Do you think, and this is a question for both of y'all, that this conversation should be had more so on a bigger scale as far as media and radio, things like that? Do you think that can make a difference?
I feel like we're the ones that's doing it right now.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I definitely think maybe I have this conversation in like one-on-ones with other Black women. I don't really have this conversation with Black men because I don't actually know all the Black men from home date Black women. But as I have traveled, I've lived in New York, Chicago, whatever, and this is actually the first state that I've lived in where Black men predominantly date white women. I've never really experienced anything like this. So I do think it would benefit us having conversations like this one consistently on any scale, so that again there can be some reconciliation, some hope, some courage, we can get back to a place. I think that's what it is. I'm just saying, you said you are talking about fighting through. I think that takes courage. I think that takes some level of effort and tenacity that you might not be used to, and that's okay. I'm not shading you. I'm not. I'm
I don't see it as shade. I'm just saying
Okay.
that
I'm
sounds
actually excited to
That
see
sounds
it.
like work. That sounds like work. I'm excited to meet AC's black girlfriend.
I'm excited to
I
see
really
it.
am. I really am. And yeah, I think let's keep having conversations
you
like
know
this.
what?
I encourage you to have
I don't know how many
conversations
episodes it's gonna take, but what's today?
to get AC a black girlfriend.
What's the big thing?
Yes, March
All right,
26th.
I'm gonna step out Friday, and
Okay, yes.
I'll give you
If you're in
I might
town.
even fuck around and go live.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah.
Yes. Mission
I like
find
it. I
AC
like
a
this.
black woman.
We ain't gonna make this about me. I think this was a very positive conversation.
Definitely.
I know I got a lot out of it. I'm hoping everyone out there that's watching and supporting us got something out of it. And I hope we can kind of continue this conversation. Like I said, I think more of it needs to be had because
For sure.
I learned some shit today. It is what it is. I grew up completely different and definitely lived through a different lens that you live through. But you know, I can dig it for sure.
And on that note, if the shoe fits,
Wear that shit. I'm taking mine off tonight.